first piece is simply understanding that your thoughts aren't you.
Mm-hmm.
Having a sense of awareness of your thoughts is the most important thing. And when you're sitting there and you're focusing on your breath, and your goal is to focus on your breath, and you start to feel like a sensation arise in your body, or a noise distracts you, or a thought pops up, and you want to, like a dog chasing a car, run after that thought, having the capacity to just acknowledge that it's happening and then bringing yourself back to center is the key to unlocking everything. That takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, but that is the first step.
Welcome to the Numbers of Purpose podcast. I'm its host, Julia Dars. Today's guest is the kind of man who defies every stereotype. Jared Curcio is a former corporate sales leader turned performance coach, podcast host, and relationship mentor. But the real story, it's the why behind it all. At 19, Jared weighed nearly 300 pounds. And by 21, he was a bodybuilding champion. From law school to leading tech sales teams, he reached every external milestone. But something was still missing. Now he's doing the deep work, helping others master their minds, their habits, and their purpose through his company, True Fitness and Focus. But what I really wanted to explore with Jared today is what most people don't really talk about. Things like, what makes a man walk away from everything successful to build something aligned? What does it take to stay lit up by one woman for 20 years? And what do modern men get wrong about women? And what do women need to know about becoming true partner material? So get ready, because this one goes deep. Jared,
What's up?
welcome.
Thank you.
So happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So we met like a year ago, right?
A little over a year ago. Beginning of 2024.
Yeah.
It was right when I was like leaving my job. So I remember it vividly.
Yeah, and we became friends right away.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately. He's like, you gotta meet my wife.
Yeah. I saw you and I don't know, clicked immediately. And there was a few things about you and I was just like, you have to meet my wife. I know that you guys are going to hit it off and get along. And then sure enough,
Okay, so things.
I mean, there was talk about psychedelics first and foremost, which always piques my interest. And then just, we were in a networking setting that was like, pretty, I think like standard, like mainstream conversation, but I felt like you kind of kept going into a more like spiritual part, like taking it in a more spiritual direction, and I felt like I was doing that as well. And then I was like, okay, there's a vibe here
in that season. Okay, so take me back. I want to hear your story. To a law school, right?
Well, so you want me to take you all the way back to law school?
Yeah, not law school, but like after that.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm almost starting halfway through the story at that point, because like you say law school and then people think that means that I had any interest in being a lawyer or anything like that. And I didn't. I had no idea what I was doing, or like there was no real reason in that I decided to go to law school aside from I saw that that's what successful people did and I wanted to be successful. For me, I was always, as a kid especially, very worried about making money. I came from a blue collar family in a blue collar town. My parents got divorced. My mom cut hair, and we were not financially well off in any way. And I feel like that was like a huge part of my upbringing, is navigating that and understanding like why things were more difficult for my family than maybe like other families. And when I was going into college, I didn't really have much direction or guidance. Nobody ever really told me like what to do. They were just like, go to college and do well. And I always happened to do good at school, not in the same ways that most people did by like studying a lot. I just was able to retain information and regurgitate it like fairly easily. I had a good memory. So I always did well in school. I was always good at like making friends with the teachers and making sure the teachers always gave me like the benefit of the doubt in most situations. And I did plenty of like the extracurriculars as well. So I always did well, but like I didn't know what I was supposed to do with my life. I never understood like what my true dream was. I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be like a comedy writer. I wanted to be a director. Like there was always that I was interested in a more creative vein for sure. And but like always coming from where I came from, that was never like an option. I didn't know people that were on TV or in movies or doing comedy. So like it never seemed like a real attainable goal. So what do? You do good in school, you go to college, and then once I'm in college and I leave and I graduate at the top of my class, summa cum laude. Yeah, I had a bunch of really great internships, but it was the height of the recession at that point in 2009. So there's no jobs available. And I was like, okay, well, I guess like, again, if I'm following the traditional path and the traditional, pattern that you follow, I'm hell bent on making money. Who do I see around me in my day-to-day life that seems attainable? That I mean, all I have to do is be good in school and you can become that thing and then you get to make money. Well, I guess it can be a lawyer. Like, that seems within the range of reason. And I went to law school and I hated it. It was terrible. I did well, but I just like almost immediately knew that like, I don't want to be like these people. Everybody at the law firms and other legal jobs that I worked at, like hated it. And I was like, why would I get into this if everybody else seems to hate it? Sure, maybe you make some money, but like, this doesn't seem worth it. And from there, Caitlin and I decided to move down to Austin. No job, no place to live. We knew one person down here who happened to be my best friend. We had visited a few times. One day we just packed up our car from Pennsylvania, moved down to Austin. There was a moment where we were literally on the side of the road eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich halfway through our trip. And we looked at each other and I go, you realize we're homeless right now, right? Like we're actually homeless people. We don't have a house.
Wow.
All of our stuff is here in the car with us. Like, how else would you describe this? Like we're absolutely homeless. We were. And then like flash forward here, 12 plus years later, and we've managed to like build a really awesome life for ourselves here in Austin. And I think a lot of that is based on me following my gut, not getting trapped in the like obvious or typical choices in terms of like, well, now you graduated law school, you better go and be a lawyer. It's like, no, like I don't have to follow the same path as everybody else. I can go off and do my own thing, and it's paid off tremendously.
I'm curious, did you have any thoughts of like, but I spent so many years doing that, like, being in law school, like I don't want to waste that, because a lot of people have this, and that's why they cling to certain things that don't really align with like their values.
So one of my favorite words in the English language is commitment. So when I commit to something, I'm going to stick it through. I could have, after a year of law school and realizing that it wasn't for me, doing well and seeing that I had like potential to stay in it, I could have said, you know what, I'm going to drop out, save myself money, save myself a couple years. But I was like, I'm here. I don't want to be a law school dropout. I want to finish and graduate. And then at the same time, once I graduated, even though I knew I didn't want to become attorney, I still said, well, I want to take the bar because I just want to be able to say that I passed the bar, right? Like I want to be able to say that I did everything I could have done to become that. And then I decided not to. So for me, it was like just a matter of like the commitment and the accomplishment of following through on it. Meanwhile, that entire time I was exploring other like paths at the same. I was working on like a fitness app with a buddy for a little while. I was trying to find more like entrepreneurial outlets because I just knew that the lawyer thing wasn't going to be the long-term plan for me. Student loans hurt. Those aren't pretty. But that's really like the only like regret that I have as far as it's concerned. Like at this point, especially, I believe like everything happens for a reason. I had an incredible time in law school and I learned a lot, and it was a really valuable experience for dozens, if not hundreds of other reasons outside of like career trajectory. And, you take the good with the bad. And like, I just took the enriching components of it for what it's worth and just moved on with my life. And my dad wasn't very happy about me making that decision. There were a lot of people that were very bewildered by the idea of me like going that distance and then like doing an entire 180, or at least like seemingly a 180. But like, that's not their decision to make. That's my decision to make.
Yeah.
And I'll say like the first job that I took when we moved down to Austin was a sales role, making 150 cold calls. I'd never done sales before. I never wanted to do sales. My dad was in sales, and like it always just seemed like the most boring, like quite frankly, like bottom of the barrel job. It's like the thing that you do like when you have to scrap to get by is like do. So that's always the way I looked at it, because you always have like the vision of like the like greasy car salesman kind of like archetype. So I never wanted to do that. And it was for $20,000 base salary with another $20,000 upside. So like if I was doing as good as I was expected, I was making 40 grand, and like coming out of law school, that's a lot to swallow.
Yeah.
And I did. I swallowed my pride. I took it on, and I just applied the same like pattern for success that I've applied to everything else in my life. And within 2 months, I became the top salesperson in the entire company.
With no experience.
With zero experience.
Would you say like law school and all of that experience helped you with this?
The goal in law school is that you could take a sentence that seems incredibly black and white on its face, like say something like stealing is illegal, like stealing, you go to jail, and trying to make that mean thousands of different things. How can we pick apart every word here and find the gray area in every component of this? And using like words are magic, words help you cast spells, and that skill translates tremendously to sales when you're trying to like use the right word to impact somebody in a meaningful way or influence them in a meaningful way. So it was beneficial there, but my bodybuilding experience was really the biggest component in terms of like understanding the value of consistency, leaning into discomfort, and just like dialing, just like you keep like pressing and pressing and pressing, even when you don't want to press anymore. It's like that same muscle mentally and emotionally that gets you to the finish line in sales. And like, that was really the key to the success for me out of the gate.
Okay. It's getting interesting. Okay. So sales job, and you were doing extremely good there, right?
Yes.
What happened when you're like, I don't want to be here anymore?
Yeah. So like I said, the reason I got into sales was because it was the only like option that I had. It wasn't my passion.
So you understood it's like a temporary thing.
Yeah. Yep. As I think most people who get into that career, like I genuinely believe that's what most of them think, right? If you're good at it, there's a tremendous amount of financial reward. And not only is there financial reward, but they keep carrots on sticks that continue to like push you and get you deeper and deeper into like their world, I guess you could say, whether that's stock options in a company, whether that's promotions and raises and prizes and trips and all kinds of things. Like the company I was at for my first 3 years moved very quickly into sales leadership and sales coaching. And really like I genuinely without any experience, redesigned their entire sales process, start to finish. And as a result, like I got to go on 2 trips a year for those 3. I was in President's Club every single time. We went to Mexico a few times, went to the Bahamas, we went to like skiing in Colorado. And it's like, that becomes really fun. Yeah. And it puts you in this state of complacency. So I was in that company for 3 years. I was at another company. And then I had my longest stint, 7 years at a real estate software company where that's like the crowning achievement, I would say, of my career is the product and team and the revenue that I drove at that particular company, which again is like, at this point, it's like embarrassing to even say that like driving revenue for some other company was a crowning achievement in my life. Like that's like kind of cool, but it's also like, well, it would have been cool if I was doing that for myself. And that's really like
you were acquiring like skills.
Of course. No, I was. And like, of course I know that again, everything happens for a reason, and everything that I've done up to this point has gotten me to where I am today. But once you realize, oh, I've been successful over and over and over again, and it's not because of my professor or my boss or the product that I'm selling or the company that I'm working for. And it's not, and I'm not doing well only because like hitting these new tiers is so much fun. Like how many more tiers in the pay scale or in the corporate ladder, or how many more stock options will it be before I'm happy? It's like, why don't I just, the reason I'm successful is because of me. I'm the one who's like driving myself, and I'm the one with the motor, and I'm the one with the consistency and the skill set. Why don't I just take all this that I've learned and put it towards something that I'm actually passionate about, and that I know will, more importantly than anything, drive real value for the people that I'm delivering it to.
You weren't happy.
I was complacent. I was complacent. And eventually, I'm a person who likes discomfort enough and likes taking risks. And I know when I'm getting to a point of like resting on my laurels, maybe, and not feeling challenged and feeling like I'm just sort of coasting, where that becomes uncomfortable for me. And it's like a frog in boiling water. Like if you put a frog in a pot and you turn it on, it will sit in there. It doesn't know that it's going to burn up and boil to death. It has that effect on you. For a lot of people in the corporate world, you're just lulled into, you have benefits, you have a paycheck coming in every couple months, you have, the happy hour once a month, safety, comfort, and
peanut butter jelly, President Club.
And they instill like these little, like just enough fear in you that you're never able to just like feel chill and like good. It's just enough fear that like you never are able to zoom out and take a look at the big picture and go, am I enjoying this? Did I like my day yesterday? No. Did I like my day today? No. Then like, why the fuck am I going to do the same thing tomorrow? Why don't, like, how long until I decide that it's time to make a difference for myself, make a change for myself?
It's being self-aware. Let's say not a lot of people are self-aware. It's like, you live your life and it's what you used to, and like that's the normal for you. When did you, or have you had this before, or you started some sort of a spiritual practices where you became more aware of things like this?
That's so, okay. So this is something I think about a lot. I am all the time thinking about thinking. I'm really into psychology. So I majored in psychology in undergrad because I really always liked it. I like the concept of like the human experience and consciousness. And the first time that we like really sat down and talked, we were talking about the observer effect. Like that kind of stuff is my wheelhouse. I spend my time thinking about that stuff. And I was probably like, honestly, like during like my weight loss and bodybuilding experience, I found myself, I was doing a lot of like work where I was like alone by myself, like driving, I was like delivering stuff, and I was always like in my car driving and listening to the radio. And I found myself like reflecting a lot and being like very introspective. And there was one day where I'm like, I think about my own thoughts more than the average person. I like remember thinking that. And I've always sort of like felt like, even since I was a child, I felt like, I think I've like been here before. I think I kind of understand this place like more than most people do. But I didn't like, I felt like that, but I didn't know how to like comprehend it or like put it together really. And like over time, I do feel like I have had like a exponentially increasing sense of like self-awareness. And that's in no small part to my meditation practice that I started 8 years ago. That has been the big, like after like getting in my dialing in my physical health and understanding my discipline component, which was like the very masculine side of me, and like figuring out how to like control and dominate the world around me. That was the biggest thing in terms of helping me tap into the more feminine side of things, understanding intuition, understanding like how fake so much of like what we're told and what we're interacting with actually is, and realizing like, oh, just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's true. My truth is actually like what matters, and I'm just going to live by that. And over time, going from a 5-minute 3 time a week to 20-minute 4 time a week to now an hour 5 times a week minimum of meditating every morning has like been a tremendous factor in how I've evolved in that way.
How would you say it's helping you like in life?
I could talk for the rest of the podcast about that, so I'll try to dial it down to as much as possible. Okay, so the first piece is simply understanding that your thoughts aren't you.
Mm-hmm.
Having a sense of awareness of your thoughts is the most important thing. And when you're sitting there and you're focusing on your breath, and your goal is to focus on your breath, and you start to feel like a sensation arise in your body, or a noise distracts you, or a thought pops up, and you want to, like a dog chasing a car, run after that thought, having the capacity to just acknowledge that it's happening and then bringing yourself back to center is the key to unlocking everything. That takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, but that is the first step. And that's how it begins to help you. From there, it helps you focus on the present. Most people spend way too much time thinking about the past, regretting the past, feeling guilty about the past, or being anxious about the future, feeling overwhelmed about how far they have to go to accomplish their goals. And as a result, you're missing the only thing that actually exists, which is right now in the present. Are you doing the best thing for yourself, for your truth, right now, right here? Like literally, not today, not this week, like now. Then you start to also develop the life that you're truly meant for. So like I can go on forever and ever, but those two things alone are like the start to the true transformation that meditation eventually has, which ultimately leads with hitting the portal and connecting with God and downloading source material, and then you become God himself. So that's really what it is. Yeah, that's after 8+ years. So of intense consistency.
There, it's like, because in now you make decisions in now about your future, so every decision has consequences, right? So if you align and grounded in, you can see that, oh, this is the thought that I choose not to chase, right? You're making different decisions. So your future will be different from being just reactive constantly on things.
That's exactly it. We oftentimes think that our circumstances are defining our life, right? And we want to put blame or excuses on all sorts of external stimuli, but it's only a matter of how we're reacting to those things. That is the only thing that our life is actually based on. So we're like, something happens to us, we have a reaction back to the universe. The universe then responds back to us, and it doesn't have to be like a shouting match with somebody. A lot of people think like reaction or impulse is like getting angry or crying or flipping out. It could be as much as like choosing an unintentional word, or even like your body language. Like if you have like shitty body language, or like somebody says something and you just like slouch, there's a reaction from the universe back to you about that. Now you're ping-ponging reactions back and forth with the universe, and you go, well, this is just the way it is. And it's like, well, it doesn't have to be. You could choose a different reaction. Yeah. You could choose a totally different reaction. And like the mindfulness and the stillness of meditation allows you to slow things down enough where you can understand, oh, I've reacted this way. I've had this emotion based on this stimulus every single time. It's led to this thought. It's led to this reaction. It's led to this outcome. What if I just didn't have that emotional reaction, or if I understood it enough and I changed my response? Then what happens? That's the chain reaction, and then you have a better life. That's literally the key to a better life.
What was, maybe if you had this also, one reaction that you changed that changed a lot of things in your life?
The number one most important change that I made was understanding that me explaining or trying to change somebody else will never get the result that I'm looking for. The only thing I could do is lead by example. And when somebody comes to me for help, that is when I will offer it. If you come to me for help and you don't take it, well, fuck you. I'm not interested in having conversations with you anymore. So like, not the first time, but if it's the third time, the fourth time, and it's the same thing, so like and I'm like, I told you what to do 1,000 times. I'm not like your complaint machine. I'm not here to listen to your complaints. I'm here to help you fix it if you want to fix it. If you don't, then you can enjoy your shitty life.
I love it. I love it. So I want to talk a little bit about what you do right now. your soul passion business, and I would love then to jump into relationship, your beautiful marriage.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll also talk about men and women.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So what you do right now, tell us.
So there's two main things that I do. I have my one-on-one coaching business that is mostly with men. So I really have one thing. When I left my job, I was supposed to have a gym. That gym fell through. We're in the process of getting another gym now, but in the meantime, I was personal training for a little while. So I have a handful of personal training clients, but I consider those legacy clients. I've transitioned now fully into one-on-one. I call it life coaching. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah,
I don't like that term. I'll say it's like I call it like physical and mental fitness coaching, I guess. Ultimately, my goal is to become the short Jack Tony Robbins. So that's really what I want to get to. Yeah. But it's helping mostly men, although I do have some female clients, build better physical fitness, helping them develop a growth-oriented, winner-oriented, discipline-oriented mindset where they understand that, like I was just saying, that they do have an impact on the world around them and the world around them does not have an impact on them should they decide that that's the case. And then helping them understand more clearly what is their purpose, what is their passion, what is the thing that's going to light them up, and then develop a plan to help them actually get to that end goal. So that's the one side. The other piece is that Caitlin and I, my wife, we've been together since high school, 20 plus years at this point, and we do couples coaching 2-on-2, helping couples build, we call it power, passion, purpose. Power being their physical fitness, emotional fitness, mental fitness, making sure that they're optimized individually, because a relationship can only be as strong as the individuals in the relationship. So making sure that they're fully embodied in their full power individually. Passion is their collaboration, teaching them how to communicate effectively, limit conflict, limit friction, work together as efficiently and effectively as possible so that they aren't butting heads and they're on the same page and they understand how to, I guess, not just coexist, but build something bigger than themselves. And then purpose is the final piece, which is we take all of that energy that they now have and channel it toward an aligned vision, an aligned goal for themselves, their life, their relationship. That could be starting a family. It could be starting a business. It could be investing in something. It could be starting a new hobby. But our goal, our belief is that happy couples are ones who have a vision for themselves. They're moving forward. They're progressing. They're they're growth minded, not just as individuals, but as far as like what their life together can be. And if they're working together towards something that's fulfilling to both of them, that is where like the real true happiness and long-term success of a relationship comes from.
I love it. I love it. I see, like, I look at your relationships and relationship with Caitlin. I'm like, wow, this is like really a role model or it should be, or at least for me, for example.
She's incredible. She's the best.
Yeah.
Like,
what's our first episode, Caitlin?
I did just, as I was walking, she was out by the pool, like reading a book and something, and I gave her a hug and I was like, all right, I'm going to go be Julia's best guest ever now. She's like, good luck.
Yeah. Tell me about your relationships. I know that you were together from high school, right?
Yep. And over 20 years, we say that we've lived at least 5 lives together. We had high school us, which was, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Like, nobody does. We're from Jersey. We didn't really take care of ourselves all that much. We just, I don't know. We very early on, we just like had a really tight bond and we just really enjoyed spending time together. And it was, we just.
How did you know it's her?
I don't know. I mean, especially back then when you're 18, like it's interesting because I think I was 17. She was 16, but I wasn't 17 for long. I eventually turned 18 very soon after. But like, you kind of at that point, like you think everybody's the one, right? Like anybody that you're in a relationship with, it's like puppy love. So I don't know at what point really I was like, oh, she's the one. It was just like a fairly quick, like synergistic connection took place over the course of probably about 1.5 to 2 years where I was like, oh, like this is actually the one that I might be with forever. Like I remember thinking that like really early on, and not in a way where I was like so head over heels and like, you know, crazy, wildly like emotional about it, or like in like a tornado of like a vortex of love. Like it wasn't that kind of thing. It was just like, oh shit, like this chick is awesome and we have a lot in common. And I think a lot of it was also the like us getting physically healthy together, her support throughout my bodybuilding experience. She was always just like my biggest fan. That's really what it came down to, is like no matter what, I noticed early on she was my biggest fan. And then again, when I went to law school, you're not allowed to have a job while you're in law school.
Oh,
They don't let you have a job. So I didn't realize that at first. I went down there planning to like work
that's
for myself.
amazing.
And then it's so much work that they highly discourage somebody having like any kind of side job. So she supported me for the 3 years that we were down there. She's a nurse. She was able to easily find it. I was going to class and she was working her ass off, growing in her career, which has paid off tremendously at this point for her. And like, I'll say this, once somebody does something like that for you and is like that ride or die and like doesn't give you shit for it and doesn't create friction and is just like, okay, like, let's do it. What's next? Like, fuck yeah. Like, let's make it happen. And then for me to decide, hey, by the way, I'm not going to be an attorney. And she's like, okay, what's next? And then together really it was her who like was really pushing on coming down to Austin. And I told her like, I promise you, I'm going to pay you back for all of this and then some. I'm going to make sure that we have the dopest life ever. And, you know, at this point, I like to believe that I've done that. And then I was leaving my corporate career and I was like, hey, Bill, you want to do that again? Want to go on that adventure again? Want to go see what else we can go accomplish? I might need a little bit more support. And she was just like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So that kind of like ride or die mentality, like once somebody is like just that committed, they show you that they love you, they demonstrate that they love you. They don't just tell you it, but like they're embodying it. What else?
Yeah.
And she's hot as shit.
Yeah.
So what else do you need?
I love it. Did you have any periods of your relationship where you had like very difficult time or like
Yeah. And it's largely her story to tell. Listen, and I was certainly not a perfect boyfriend, fiance, or husband. I think I am now. I'm damn near close to being a perfect one, but I maybe not. I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure I have plenty of things to work on. But I can tell you definitively that I had a lot of things to work on, especially during the first probably like 15 years of our relationship. And I did a really, one thing I will say about myself, and I will give myself kudos for without question, is like when I see a flaw in myself, like I fix it. I do my best to fix it as quickly as possible. I really I despise blind spots and I throw myself into discomfort in that way. But there was a time where I was probably, again, too in my masculine. This is before I started meditating. And she is also, she leans more like masculine by nature as well. And there were several years into us being into Austin, we weren't connecting as much as we had previously. I was growing in my career. She was like in a transition period in her career, I would say. And she was just not being the best version of herself is like the best way to frame it. And again, it's her story to tell. I'm not going to go into it, but there was some lies. There was deceit on her part to me. And again, largely because she knows that I probably wouldn't have responded well to it had she had been straightforward and truthful. So like, again, that falls on me as much as it does on her to that extent. And when I learned of what was happening, I, of course, got very, very angry. I got very, very hurt. I was like actually devastated because this person who I thought we knew everything about each other, and I thought that there was like nothing but full transparency. There was clearly like a lot that was happening that I was unaware of, and that like really shook me to my core, and it hurt. It ruined my trust for a little while, but together we decided like, this isn't us. We can do better than this. Let's make this happen. And we basically like, say it like how, and like, she'll say that I coached her through it, where we set like certain standards, we set certain commitments, we held one another accountable to those commitments, and going through that has only like made our relationship so much stronger. And ever since then, it's only been an incredibly like rocket ship of an upward trajectory. And even more so in the last, like, again, 5 years, it's like that feels like a different time.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like it happened in this life. It feels like it happened in a completely different dimension, in a completely different place. And we can still talk about it, and we can still face it, and we can still like acknowledge that we went through that and that happened. And we don't even look at it as like a sad moment. We look at it as like triumphant at this point. And I think that that's, again, something that maybe too many people would not do, is they would like avoid that topic of conversation, or like feel
they
shameful
just give up and
yeah.
they're like, you know what, you're not my person anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas like it's just a phase where you can work through and you can figure out.
Divorce was on the table. Like we had like discussed it at that time, and it was just like, I'm a product of divorce. I know what that, I mean, like we don't have kids, but I know what that looked like, and I know what it did to me, and I know what it did to my parents as well. And I was like, I just, that's not the life that I want. I want to be the man. I want to be the person. I want to be the husband that gets through periods like that and only comes out stronger on the other side. I don't want to be the one who gives up, and I don't want to be the one who just settles and we just sort of like coexist side by side.
I love it. How do you keep your love going and actually growing? I think
it's just, I say it's winning. I say winning together makes the sex that much better, because when you set like, and again, it can't be just like huge, big wins, like big business wins, or the, couple times a year you go on vacation or whatever it is. Like that's obvious. Like that of course, like fires you up, but we set goals for ourselves on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly basis. We're constantly striving to be the best versions of ourselves, and we're constantly hitting new tiers for ourselves in terms of our business, in terms of our relationship, in terms of ourselves, like financially, socially, all of those things. Like we are very balanced in how we manage our lives, and we're constantly like racking up little victories in all of those places. And like when that's happening, it doesn't feel like, oh, we're approaching 40 and life is sort of over, which is, I can see in a lot of our, similar aged friends who are couples especially and are married. For us, it's like, man, there's so much more to do here. There's so much further that we can go. Like, let's keep going. And we're only building more momentum. And that makes me really horny. That makes me very horny.
I wanna add from a woman's perspective.
Sure.
They go on dates regularly.
Yeah.
Every
Sure.
week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as
Jared
frequently.
always gives so many compliments. Always. Like I spend a lot of time with them. So Caitlin is always, she might be in the masculine when she's like planning and but next to you, she's like that feminine, empress.
And she's really worked on herself to like to let that out. And again, like I think for a while I wasn't the guy who was like allowing
her. Yes, that's definitely two-way street for sure.
But yeah, no, I love giving words of affirmation, especially to her, and I like all the time. Like she's just getting berated with.
I love her reaction. It's so amazing. Yeah, so it's not only wins and not only goal settings. I think those little details are very important.
Yeah, well, of course. But like because and again, but it comes down to everything. It comes down to presence. It comes down to being grateful. Awareness, like being here now and like soaking in how incredible this is. The fact that we've been together for 20 years, the fact that like there is so much potential left in us. The fact that like we're in this period right now where we just sold our house, we moved, we're moving to another house. We're in this kind of like whirlwind, really strange period that's chaotic, but fun and different.
Yeah.
And we're just rolling with it. And like, it could be overwhelming. You could get lost in it. You could get too over your skis with it and just be like, fuck it, nothing matters. But we're managing to like stay consistent with our routine, have as much fun as possible, enjoy it, like find moments of stillness, and then you just like soak it in. You're like, this is incredible. Like our life is awesome. So why the fuck wouldn't I tell you I love you to death? Like you're the best. Like come over here. Like grab me, hug me. Let's go. Like that's how I feel.
Yeah. And they host a lot of like pool parties now. So
yeah,
exactly. I love it. Thank you for sharing this. My next question to you, since you also have your men's group, you are around a lot of men.
Yeah.
You probably also aware of like the dating scene right now. What do you think is not going like right now for both men and women?
We have so many single friends here. We have way more single friends than we have friends that are couples. And I think that's partially because, again, like we are pretty active and we like to go out and be social. And there's so many couples as you're, again, in your late 30s and 40s that it's like they hunker down. And whether they have kids or not, you don't see them as much. And the one thing I would say that I've noticed is I believe that, well, first off, I say both men and women right now are both wrong. They're both wrong in how they're approaching it. But I think the men create order and women create chaos. And chaos isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Chaos has to happen. There has to be chaos because there's no change if there's no chaos, because order is when things are fixed.
Yeah.
And chaos is when things fall apart, but you can't reorder something and create something new unless something falls apart to begin with. So like I don't say that negatively, but women are in a state where they are too masculine. They're been told their whole life that they need to be independent bad bitches, which like more power to you. You should be capable of being independent, but you also need to be able to your point, when like Caitlin softens when she's around me, you have to be able to soften into your feminine and flow and be receptive and just like learn how to let that like more uptight part of you go when you're with a man, but the man has to be the right man to allow that to happen. Because if he's a demon of some sort, or like he's worried or anxious or insecure, if he's not understanding of feminine energy, which is more flowy, and like for a guy, 1 + 1 = 2. You can't tell me otherwise. For a woman, it's like, well, why does it equal 2? What if I felt like it equaled 3? I don't want it to equal 2. It equals 3. And it's like, well, yeah, you're entitled to that. If you want to think that, then that's fine. But the guy will be like, no, how could you say that? It equals 2. It's like, well, she wants it to equal 3. Like, why does that bother you? And like, there's just a certain like give that guys have to have to women to allow them to be more feminine. But that means he has to be grounded in his presence, in his sense of providing, in his sense of protection, and ultimately his sense of purpose. Because if he doesn't have a sense of purpose, then that means that he will have his purpose imparted on him by others. And if that's the case, then you are almost inherently more of a feminine energy than you are of a masculine energy. So most men are holding on to these like really like physical aspects of masculinity, like being really analytical and over engineering things and being overly controlling and overly dominant. Meanwhile, most of their decisions are actually defined by like far more feminine, go with the flow, emotional actions, and they don't even realize it. They need to be more grounded in their purpose, in their sense of like self, in their own personal truth. And then when they find a woman who maybe is being a little too uptight, let's say, or a little too masculine, and she doesn't want to let that go, he needs to like not let the chaos take him away. He needs to stay grounded and rooted in himself. And eventually, it's not going to be every woman, but the right woman for him will find themselves, and that will happen like in due time. And that's just and that's because like you aren't trying to be everything to everybody. You're just being yourself. You're just living in your truth. And that's what like true masculinity is, in my opinion. Did that make sense? I hope that
it does. It does. I love it.
I don't think I did the best job.
I actually had this conversation with one of my friends, and we went to Florida like just for like a vacation. And he was like, I told him something, and he's like, you like controlling, you're like always in this like masculine to them, like well, if you're not taking it, then who else? missed the train. The bus.
Yeah.
We got on the wrong bus. We parked the car in the wrong thing. So yeah, like I let that flow, but like for him, he was like, yeah, what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's just. I'm like, no, it's like 2 a.m. at night. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here in the wrong bus.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, and again, that's probably somebody who's maybe too into their feminine and not masculine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to give more thought to like, am I in my masculine or am I in my feminine right now? And right now, I'm in a place where like I kind of sink into it, and sometimes like I'll find myself just I just like flow with it. I don't know. Everybody says I'm masculine. You always say that I'm really masculine. A lot of people always like they'll say, we get comments on like the podcast and stuff, like things about toxic masculinity or the fact that I say I've never said I'm an alpha male in my life, and they'll be like, Jared's like always saying he's an alpha male. I've never said that.
And that's the truth. Come on, let's go.
But like at the same time, I consider myself to be a very feminine dude. I say that all the time. I'm an artist. Mm-hmm. I like design. I design and decorate our house. Yeah. I am a creative visionary. I don't like to get my hands dirty and like tinker with things. I don't, all this technology set up, like this is, I'm like, thank God you're here to do this. Cause like, I can't help. I don't know anything about this kind of stuff, but like, that's what most dudes are into. And like, I'm like, I like comedy. I like art. I like, you know, like that's, I like words. Mm-hmm. I don't like numbers, which is funny. Yeah, so I like these kind of numbers. Yeah. So like, yeah, it's just, it's interesting how like things are perceived. And I understand like I look this way. So of course I come across masculine, but the reason that I think I come across as masculine is I take decisive action. I make decisions and then I take action in that direction. That is masculine. I'm grounded in my purpose, but like,
you also keep your word.
Yeah.
You keep your promises. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that's a lot of men missing right now. Yeah. You know, they take it lightly. They're like, yeah, let's do this. And then, oh, actually, you know what? Like, I got just a better option to spend this time. So how about we do it next time?
Yeah.
I cannot freaking stand it. No. Guys, if you're not sure, if you want to spend time with someone, don't even make promises.
I said earlier, commitment is one of my favorite words in the human language because your words are spells. Mm-hmm. Your words cast spells. If your word doesn't align with your action and it doesn't align with your frequency, then your words hold no power. You hold no power.
Yeah.
You hold no power. Mm-hmm. If your words align with your actions and with your frequency, then you can have anything that you want.
Yeah.
Because your words speak things literally into existence. Mm-hmm. So I had to like cancel on somebody else's birthday pool party a couple weekends ago because we were moving, and I was like devastated that I had to like back out of it. It's like, and it's also why like my planning process is so important to me, is because there's one me. I have unlimited physical energy in the 3D space, but I'm confined by the 24 hours in a day and the 7 days in a week.
Unfortunately.
So I need to make sure that I am fitting myself into those 24 hours a day as effectively as possible. And now I know very clearly, where am I spending my time? And I could tell you, yes, I can be there, or no, I can't. And not committing to something is as valuable. Saying no is as important, if not more important, than what you say yes to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you have your priorities aligned, then you know what you should say yes to and what you should say no to.
Yeah. And when you know exactly like when you embody your purpose, you can ask yourself, well, will this be aligned with this or not? You know,
exactly.
Same thing with like, I think people.
You will have your purpose imposed on you.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's what most people have, their purpose imposed on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, not to cut
and I want to say that this creates trust and respect. You know, like a lot of men sometimes like, oh, she didn't respect me or something like this. Respect something that just it's earned by your actions. You know, if you promised me 5 times and you flaked on me, then I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to respect you, and I'm not going to trust you anymore.
Understandably. Yeah. I have a short fuse with that kind of stuff. I almost inherently don't trust people, and I just look to see if their actions match their words. It's when you're, again, present and aware enough, it's really easy to tell if somebody is like good vibes or not, because if they're just saying things flippantly and they're not intentional with their words and they're not, and they'll just like, yeah, no, I agree with everything. That's right. That's so funny. Like, it's like, how can all that be true? I don't know. You're just going with whatever is the easiest, least path of least resistance right now. Whereas I love being in a conversation and being like, I disagree.
Yeah. We have those. And I love it because it's not a surface level. You actually like getting into deep conversation. I love that. All right, tell me about women now. What you think and what do you think women got wrong?
I think, again, men are the problem. Both are wrong. Men have the capacity to change things by stepping more into their masculinity and owning their truth a little bit more. Women have been put in a position through society, and also men have been conditioned as well, but I think it's on them to pull themselves out of it, where there's of course, a feminist movement, like I said, being very independent and almost being forced to exist almost 24 hours a day in their masculine. And I think making that switch is really challenging. Yeah. And I think also they've been so conditioned to be untrusting of men for any variety of reasons, not just because of, let's say, like the Me Too movement and things of that nature, but also, like, to your point, most men aren't keeping their word. So why would I expect the next one to keep his word? I said I'm distrusting of most people, but I think when a woman can, maybe it's through meditation, maybe it's through other practices that allow you to embody more of like a feminine spirit, tap more into intuition. That's why I love your dancing, because I think that is like an incredible practice for you to get into that state that maybe is like less on display throughout the rest of the day, but that's your way of tapping into that and feeling that like gut intuition of like how to move instinctually through a song, for example. And when they start to be in the presence of a man where their gut is telling them one thing, but their head is going somewhere else, because of course your head is always fear-based and it's looking for every red flag, looking for every reason why they should be nervous right now, rather than going like, but I actually feel safe here. So why am I thinking all the most negative things possible? Why am I looking for red flags right now? Is there any reason to? Do I feel like I'm being misled? Only if I the only way to know is to be present and to see, does this person's words align with their actions? Do their words carry power? If so, then this is a person that I can be safe with, and maybe I should now let my guard down. And I think there's just a place for them to learn how to follow that feminine intuition more readily, because you're so conditioned to do the exact opposite all day, every day, as a result of how like the matrix is designed.
We just had the conversation yesterday with Jen, and we were discussing the part of like women are expected to work and make, income almost the same as men.
Exactly.
Cook, clean the house, be beautiful, and then wait for you to come home and be all like, I want you.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, I totally agree with you. Like, for example, in Belarus, in my country, right, you have 3 years of maternity leave paid by the government.
Cool.
Yeah. So like, be mom, be wife, get your body together, like do whatever you need to do to kind of like become that, woman that you need to do, and the mother you need to become.
Yeah.
Right here, it's like, I was like so surprised when I saw like a kinder care, right? It's got like 10 weeks, 12 weeks babies. I'm like, what?
Wow.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, huh?
Yeah, but they're like, well, what we need to.
You got to get back to work. You got to get back to the factory.
Who's gonna pay for this baby?
Who's gonna send those emails?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but like it's wild. Yeah, but again, I think, of course, like, am I saying that women shouldn't work? Of course not. I just said Caitlin supported me once before, and she's largely like responsible for our bills right now, like as we're growing these businesses. And she certainly was for the first 6 to 9 months. And so like of course, like women should be working, but I do think it's probably just, there's an overemphasis on like going to work, getting things done, being a doer, and there's so much less time paid to the other stuff. But at the same time, that also just conditions men to be followers as well, right? And it conditions them to be in a fear-based spiral following orders, not thinking for yourself, just striving for the next carrot that they're putting you on this path toward, as opposed to carving your own. So that's why like it's so hard right now. Both people are conditioned to do the absolute wrong thing. Both parties.
It's society, social media. It's like as you said, beach baby. Kind of like scenario where like, I don't need a man and all of this stuff.
I'll also say this. I think another huge thing that drives me crazy that I hear people talking about and seeing a lot of, I think in general, like when you're talking to somebody, let's say it's through like a dating app or through text or through DM or something, so many people are using AI for those conversations that I think that's like disgusting. Like you're never getting to know.
It's actually funny that I didn't know that, but one of my friends, she's like, "Oh, I'm using ChatGPT to respond." I'm like,
so
what?
I think that's horrific because like you're not. Everybody thinks that, but ChatGPT just says what I'm thinking. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say what you're thinking. It says what you wish you could think.
Exactly.
It says what you want to hear. So you can go, oh yeah, those are my words. No, it's ChatGPT's words. You couldn't collect your word. Again, your words hold power. If you're giving ChatGPT your words, guess who holds all of your power? ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that has to stop. And then just like general like games where like people are like, well, I don't view his story, or I don't text her. I can't text till tomorrow. It's like,
God,
what? I can't even wrap my mind around like having that sort of like thought process.
It's like so fake.
Should I sit here and like, am I reading the text and do I have the time to reply? Then yeah, I'm replying. Like I don't get that.
Yes, but then like, oh my God, I know what you're talking about. It drives me crazy.
I hate having notifications on my phone. I want to have all my notifications.
If I open up, if it happened to like I have the phone and you texted me, I'm gonna reply back because most likely I'm gonna be doing something else and I just like gonna forget or something.
There are times where I have like I want to be intentional about what I'm saying and like I have to think about like the plan is or whatever. So like I'll keep those on unread. But if it's like anything, I just don't get that. But like that, I hear so much about like these little like fake rules
because she's gonna think that you're like needy. And then like you just and then a woman of that like and she's like, well, he doesn't care about me because like it's been a day and he hasn't replied me yet. So like I'm gonna move on. And like these games, they absolutely not necessary.
And it's also like if you want to reply, like if you're interested, then you should indicate your interest. If you're that interested in so many women that it feels like you're replying to a lot of women a lot, well then like maybe your standards are too low. I don't know. Like I think it's like there's just there's a whole perspective shift that I think needs to happen.
Or maybe you need to work a little bit on like what's happening there. I had this experience with like recently, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like you just still like healing in the healing journey after the last relationships. I'll let you do this. I'm okay. You know, you're cool. Like I really like everything there, connection, depth, but like that the games were played and I'm like, I'm okay. I passed that point. Thank you.
And people like will disguise those like little games as rules. Like you don't text until 48 hours. Like that's stupid. You're living by somebody else's like rules and regulations. You're a follower. You don't have your own thoughts.
And it's, the rise of coaching, like the relationship coaches, and some of them are good, but some of them like giving you this kind of like awful pickup links or like the rules that you just discussed. And I'm like, hey, there's no rule. Like there is intention to get to know the person. Why would I need to wait 3 months until I get you on a second date, for example, or whatever? Like, no, for me, let's say I know my language and I know like I love attention. So if I'm interested and we're seeing like, I'm seeing a guy. Yes. And like what I like is like a text in the morning. Hey, have a beautiful morning. Like, something like this. It's just meaningful. It doesn't have to be a poem there. It just shows me that this person is thinking about me. and I'm gonna say, hey, thank you so much, have a beautiful day, and we chat like through the day or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what matters, like those small details.
Yeah.
So no games, stop playing that.
I think that it's silly to play games again. Like you're getting everything off on the wrong foot. You're immediately making it like a me versus them, contentious. We're not on the same page. Where it's just like, be you, do what you like, do what you want to do, say what you want to say. They're either going to reciprocate or not. Like,
yeah. And if she somehow replies or whatever, like she thinks that you are needy or something like this, then she's not your person.
Yeah, exactly.
Period. That's it.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
And like, again, if you're the kind of person who is more distant, then like, you need to learn how to connect. You need to learn how to learn how to become more intimate, because I think there's a lot of issues there too, especially with more conversation happening through DM and things happening on social media and people being less like connecting in person. I think that that also creates like a lot of friction, but that's a little bit of a different topic.
I love it. Okay. I have 3 signature questions that I wanted to ask you. So the first one, what would you say to the man or a woman who knows they are meant for more, but it's scared to bet on themselves?
Okay. I believe that a person's full potential is like a fire. A fire needs 3 things to exist. You need heat, which is like a spark, or it's the like sun coming through the magnifying glass. A fire needs fuel, which is gasoline or sticks or twigs or whatever, lighter fluid, and then it needs oxygen. That's how it breathes and that's how it grows. A person's human potential is just like that. The fire in that case is a passion, a thing in here in your solar plexus that tells you, hey, I want more, I can accomplish more, there's more out there, like I want to see what that looks like. It's that driving force. Most people would probably say that they have that, right? So there's the heat there. Then there's the fuel component, which is skills, talent, experience, ability. How do you get that? By doing things, right? Like you don't get that by sitting around and thinking about it. You get that by like experiencing life and going out there. Most people would probably say, yeah, I have some sort of skill. I have some sort of experience. Okay, great. The third piece is the oxygen. If you have the talent, or you have you have the drive and the desire, and you have some sort of a talent that you can employ to create, why wouldn't you do it? Well, because you don't have belief. You don't have belief in yourself. Why wouldn't you have belief in yourself? Because you've never done it before. So how do you start to create that self-belief? Getting out there and just taking action. Whatever your level of, whatever is exciting you, whatever feels like the thing that's calling you. It could be baking cookies. It could be starting to work out. It could be working out with, like, starting to train other people. It could be picking out a skill, a talent, a trip, moving. Whatever is like calling to you, just go and do that thing.
Yeah.
Once you do it once, it becomes so much easier to do it again and again and again. And through consistency and through discipline, you start to understand, like, oh, no matter what, if I just stay consistent with something, I will see results at the end of it. And now all of a sudden we have all 3 of those components. The more that you're doing, the more skills you're developing, you start to see what else is available to you and is out there. So you build even more passion and more desire, which blows more oxygen onto the fuel because you have more self-belief. And now all of a sudden, like, you have a raging wildfire. So and if people will sit there and they'll go, I just don't know what to do. Like, just go do something. Go do something different. You don't have to stick with it forever till it's boring, and then move on to the next thing. But carve out time in your day for you to explore your passions. It's not going to happen watching Netflix. It's not going to happen when you're at the office. It's not going to happen
like listening to podcasts,
laying in bed.
It's great, but to a certain degree, like, you have to go and live life.
Just go and like start experiencing stuff, and doors will open up the more you do that you can't even fathom right now. You don't even know. And so that's what I would recommend.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Also, wanted to add to this, I think a lot of people, when they start, like, they have this like black or white thinking that, what if it's not the right thing to do? Well, then you move on to the next one.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, well, you don't know if, like, stop again, analytical thinking. I use the example of like muffins. People will be like, I want to start a business. I want to leave my job. I want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe I'll make muffins. Okay. I would need to buy the stuff for this much. I would make this many muffins. I could sell a muffin for this much. You know what? That's not enough to live on. I can't really start a muffin business. It's like, bro, did you even try making muffins?
Yeah.
Did you even know if you like making muffins?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, maybe you should start, go to a bake sale, do what Jake does with his cakes, start bringing them to parties. People like them. All of a sudden, now there's a little bit of a demand for your muffins.
Yeah. Just literally started with Jake Cakes, one of our mutual friends here. He started it as just a tool to bring people together and make them like happy. We were discussing this, and he's like, yeah, I kind of just wanted to make people happy, and I tried this, and now it's actually growing into a very big business, which is, again, you probably will have you will gravitate towards something. You know, I would never go and like, oh, you know what? I want to build roofs right now. Construction, you know, it's probably never going to happen, right? But like dancing, classes, coaching, podcasts, videos, it's always been in my life from where I was little.
Just do it.
Yeah, I remember I literally had like the old camera that my dad had, and I was playing Natalia Oreiro songs, and I was making like a clip, like a video clip, and I was like singing and doing like, you know, I always had that. So like, you just need to, again, meditation, get into yourself, and just without the society norms, what other people like expecting of you, right? Like, what do you want to do? And you'll find that.
And you just, the first step is probably not going to be wildly outside of your comfort zone. It's probably going to be slightly outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go like.
But eventually, that becomes your comfort zone, and then you expand from there. If you don't get outside of your comfort zone, then it never grows. And like I said, I'm at a point in my life where it's like, if I'm in my comfort zone too long, I get uncomfortable, and I'm like, I want to expand. I want to try something new. I need to take a new risk. I'm not here to like coast. I'm here to build something.
I love it. I love this phrase when it says expand your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, like when you like getting outside of your comfort zone, but how about you just expand it? Like now, instead of small bubble in your couch, it becomes maybe a meetup event or entrepreneur. Get your network going. And you see, like, you will hear so many people just talking and discussing their business where you're like, oh, interesting. You know, so you may create something absolutely like different, but like, you know, you need to have the experience of other people doing it, you know, as a full-time, as their business. So you can also have like, oh, okay, actually there is a way. Yeah, I love it. All right, question number 2, and then we're going to get into the numbers.
Okay, can't wait.
If you had to describe your transformation in 3 words, what would they be?
My transformation. Give me, when you say transformation, give me tell me what you mean by that.
You're overthinking.
I know.
I probably transformation from being in the corporate and getting into
crazy, because the first thing I say, like, really during COVID is when I started to realize I need to get out of the corporate world and just in general, like, break free of the matrix. And I could have convinced myself that my way of thinking was crazy or it was outlandish. And the more that I've leaned into just going full crazy and losing my mind, the better life becomes. So like going crazy is number 1, or crazy, I guess, would be 1. Relentlessness is number 2, where it's like, I'm not giving myself, like, there is no off switch. Like, I'm on at all times. I am going. I know what my end goal is, and there is nothing that you could put before me that will stop me from getting there. Like, I'm going to find a way around or through it. Like, that's number 2. And then, like, at the same time, surrendering. Like, fully, we've had that conversation a few times, which is, as much as I'm just moving forward, I'm not trying to control everything around me. I say the only thing that you should force is yourself. So I force myself to be the best me that I can every single day. I get as much out of myself as I can in a day. I treat myself well. I love myself. I do right by me. I fill my cup and I pour back out into other people as best as I can. And that is when I say relentless, that is what I mean. But at the same time, whatever happens, we've had real estate troubles. There's of course been like ups and downs. I mentioned that I was supposed to have a gym and that fell through, and I just am not going, oh, well, I guess it's not supposed to happen then. Or like, woe is me. I guess I'm just going to like, take the day off and just like take a mental health day. It's like, no, it's supposed to happen. Everything that is happening is for the best at the end of the day. The universe has me. God's got me. I am God's favorite. I am also embodying God and channeling God every single day. So there's no way that I can fail. And this wouldn't happen unless it was necessary for the outcome that I have already predetermined will occur, has occurred, is occurring.
I love it. I love it. Ooh, okay. And finally, what's one truth you live by now that you didn't before?
It's like the question itself is the answer, which is just like, when it comes to both of those things, the craziness in particular is like, my truth is all that matters, honestly. Like, if I'm not doing harm to somebody else, and if I'm just leading with love and I'm putting fear aside, which again, like comes with that surrendering component, then if I'm going based on my intuition and I'm at a point now where I can sense when the vibe is coming from here and when the vibe is coming from up here, if it's coming from up here, then it's wrong. If it's coming from in here, then it's right. And the more that I just live by my gut, regardless of what anybody else might think, say the things that I mean the things that I say, do the things that I want to do, that is what like has helped me like live a life that I'm incredibly proud of and that I love tremendously.
I love it.
Yeah.
Live by your truth.
Yeah.
Not by somebody else's truth.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Oh, okay. You are fire. Let's go into the numbers. So I want you to think about the intention. Yeah, maybe something like on your mind right now, something that's happening. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to hold the cards and you like kind of like give that attention. Say it one more time.
Okay.
And now you can take it however you want. You can pull the cards, whichever you want, whichever you feel like it's yours. Yeah, you can separate it. Okay.
Should I look at it?
Sure, of course. What is it? Oh, make a wish. Here we go. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna read it for you. And
that feels like a good one. Hold on. Let's hold that up to the camera. 1111, make a wish. We know what that is. That's an angel number if I've ever seen one.
It is an angel number. Okay. Opportunities are soaring your direction. Doors are being flung wide open. The time is now. This is a call to vibrate at a higher frequency. If you've been feeling defeated or hopeless, your angels are urging you to shift your perspective. Don't be too surprised if you experience some eye-opening epiphanies. Even the smallest changes can make enormous ripple effects in your future. Tune into abundance in both your mind and your actions. Whenever you see this number, make a wish. I bet you're going to be like, is it one?
Yeah, I'm ready. I always do. I do it all the time anyway. Turn
your entire being toward achieving that goal and watch the universe send you everything you need. Upright, which was upright. Shifting to an abundance mindset, intentional living. Call to action to make your wishes reality. Attracting surprising new opportunities, manifesting your desires. And your affirmation will be, I am in the middle of something miraculous.
I am in the middle of something miraculous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Let's go. I love it. Yeah. So make a wish, and I'm gonna have you on podcast a little bit later, and we're gonna see and talk about it.
I just made my wish.
It's gonna be a magical podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
This was fun.
I love it.